Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today is the day in 1940 of the first showing of Walt Disney's second film, Pinocchio, thought still to be one of his best. It's the story, as you know, of Geppetto, who wants to have a family but doesn't, and so instead he creates this wooden puppet Pinocchio, who takes on a life of his own and a fairly unpleasant and rather wicked life. First thing he does is to steal Geppetto's wig and knock it off his head and run away with it. He's a fairly unpleasant character, and the point of the story is that the Blue Fairy comes along, and through various adventures and mishaps and all sorts of things that happen to the puppet, try and encourage him to become a better person. And it's only when the Blue Fairy decides that he has become a better person that in a dream she waves a wand and he becomes a real human boy. In the film, there's much less emphasis on that. Walt Disney thought that the unpleasant side of Pinocchio ought to be played down. People wouldn't like it, and it made him much more innocent, although equally mischievous. And in addition to the Blue Fairy, we have Jiminy Cricket, who was provided by the Blue Fairy for Pinocchio as a kind of conscience. Jiminy Cricket, which subsequently has become a kind of way of not saying Jesus Christ as a swear word, and it's still the same idea, though, that it's through the way in which this conscience leads Pinocchio into being a better person that he becomes real. It led me to ask myself what does make us real, and I don't think it's becoming pure. It isn't becoming perfect. It isn't getting rid of all the bad bits about us. Becoming real is embracing those and bringing them into a wholeness, recognizing that they're maybe wanting to get rid of them, but recognizing that they're there and allowing them to be part of us as of now, and that's what makes us real, acknowledging the wholeness of ourselves. And one of the things that comes out in the film much more in the book is that Pinocchio is loved for himself, much more than in the book, where he's not particularly loved at all until he becomes a better person. And I think it will be true of to life, I think, to recognise that most of us, if we're loved at all, are loved in spite of the bad bits. We're loved as whole people, the real people that we are. And I can't resist ending this little video by reading from another well-known animal fairy story, The Velveteen Rabbit, where the Velveteen Rabbit is having a conversation in the nursery with some of the other animals who are some of the other toys that are there. "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day. "Real," said the Skin Horse, "isn't how you're made, it's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" the rabbit asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the Skin Horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily or have sharp edges or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby." I think that our reality comes from being really loved and really loving, whatever the bad bits about us.